Tibettv everyone. So today we will discuss about the continuity of the function. Okay, so which is the first topic of this chapter. So we were doing the fifth chapter, that is continuity and differentiability. So this is the fifth chapter. Okay, so today we will be discussing the first topic of this chapter, that is continuity of a function. So we will discuss about this. We will define when do we say that a function is continuous. Okay, so before defining the continuity of a function, first I will try to show you graphically what do we mean by the continuity of a function, or when do we say that a function is continuous. Okay, so I'll take two examples. I will take sine x, you know, function sine x. Okay, and we'll take another function tan x. Okay, so you know the graph of sine. Okay, so if I plot the graph of sine, so then we have 0 pi by 2 pi, 3 pi by 2 to 2 pi, and this is negative pi by 2, negative pi, negative 3 pi by 2, and so on. And then we have 1, negative 1. Okay, so this is the graph of sine. Okay, and if we look at the graph of tan, so first we will try to graphically understand what is the difference between a function is continuous and if a function is not continuous or a function is discontinuous. Okay, 0 pi by 2 pi, 3 pi by 2, 2 pi, negative pi by 2, negative pi, negative 3 pi by 2, okay, now this is the graph of tan and this is the graph of sine. Okay, now first you look at the graph of sine. What we can see is the graph of sine, it continues. Okay, so which means continuous means if the graph shouldn't be broken at any point. So now if I this we had taken the first revolution, after this still the graph will continue like this. Okay, so if you take any point on x-axis, the graph will never be broken at any point on x-axis. Okay, so then we say that the function sine x is continuous. So continuous means graphically, if you try to understand, then the graph shouldn't be broken at any point. Okay, so the graph of the sine x is continuous, so we call it as a continuous function. Whereas when we take the function tan x, then you can see that the graph is broken here at pi by 2, from negative pi by 2 to pi by 2, it is continuous. At one stretch you can draw the graph, right? But when you reach pi by 2, okay, then you can see the graph is broken here. So then we say that the function is discontinuous or function is not continuous at pi by 2. So similarly, like pi by 2, you can find some other points also at which the graph of the function is broken. So at these points, pi by 2, 3 pi by 2, and if you continue, then you get so 5 pi by 2, 7 pi by 2, and so on. If you come on this side, then you have negative pi by 2, negative 3 pi by 2, and negative 5 pi by 2, and so on. So at these points, you can see that the graph of the function is broken. Okay, so we say that the function is discontinuous at these points. So when we talk about the continuity of a function, then you have to check at certain point whether the function is continuous or not, because in a interval the function may be continuous. Like if I consider tan x in the interval 0 to pi by 2, if I talk about this interval, if I take negative open interval negative pi by 2 to positive pi by 2, then within this interval the function is continuous. If we consider here in this interval negative pi by 2 to pi by 2, within this interval the function is continuous, right? But at this point the function is discontinuous. Again in the interval pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2, I'm taking open interval, which means I'm excluding these 2 points. Okay, so within the interval pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2, again the graph of the function is continuous. Okay, so the function will be discontinuous at a point, not at the whole interval. You will say that the function is discontinuous. So then you have to specify at which point the function is discontinuous, which means at that point the graph of the function will be broken. Okay, so the continuity of a function means we are looking at the function's graph. Okay, so if a function is continuous, then what you should have is the graph of the function will never be broken at any point. Like you can take the example of sine x. So if you take any point, okay, so if I take pi by 2, the graph is continuous. It continues. It is not broken. Similarly, if I take it pi, it is continuous. It is not broken. Similarly, if I take a point somewhere here, again the graph is not broken. Okay, so therefore the function will be discontinuous at a point. Okay, but you have to check whether the function is continuous in certain interval or not. But the function, if it is, you are saying that the function is discontinuous, then it will be discontinuous at a point, which means the graph of the function will be broken at that point. So if I say that, if I ask you, check whether the function 10x is continuous in the interval negative pi by 2 to pi by 2, then what will be your answer? Yes, the function is continuous, because within the interval negative pi by 2 to pi by 2, the graph of the function is not broken anywhere within this interval. So then the function 10x is continuous in this interval. Whereas if I ask you this, if I give you this interval 0 to pi, okay, check the continuity of the function 10x within the interval 0 to pi. Okay, then graphically you can see 0 to pi means this interval. Okay, so within this interval the function is broken at this point, you can see. So then you will say that the function 10x is discontinuous in this interval at, then you have to specify that point, at x is equals to pi by 2, which means the graph of the function is broken at pi by 2. Is that clear? So graphically you can understand when do we say that a function is continuous, which means when we talk about the continuity of a function, then always remember that you are talking of the continuity at a point. At that point, if I say that at this point the function is continuous, then I mean the graph of the function is not broken at that point. If I'm saying the function is discontinuous at that point, then at this point the graph of the function is broken. Okay, so graphically this is the meaning of the continuous function and discontinuous function at a point. Is that clear? So when you're talking about the continuity of a function at a point, then if a function is continuous at that point, then the graph of the function is not broken. If the function is discontinuous at a point, then the graph of the function is broken at that point. So graphically you can understand this. Now theoretically, how we will check that? Because for every function it is not possible for us to plot the graph and check whether the function graph is broken at that point or not. So theoretically, how we will check whether a function is continuous or not? So for that, first I will define what do we mean by continuous function. Okay, and then we will see certain steps we have to follow to check whether a function is continuous at that point or not. Okay, so first we will define. Now I think with these two graphs you will be clear with a continuous function at a point. Okay, so if a function is continuous at a point, then the graph of the function is not broken at that point. So you can just understand with this simple concept. Okay, so first we will write the definition of a continuous function. A function fx is said to be continuous at x is equals to c if, which means I'm checking the continuity of the function at point c. Okay, so c means earlier in the example the function 10x is not continuous at pi by 2. So at that time your c is pi by 2, right? So at which point you are checking the continuity, at which point you are checking whether the graph of the function is broken or not. So that I'll take it by C, or you can take any other point, A, B, C, D, whatever point you can you can take that. Okay, so a function fx is said to be continuous at point C if it should satisfy three conditions. Number one, f of x is defined at x is equals to c. Number 2, limit of the function as x tends to c exists. Yesterday we had talked about the existence of limit, right? So that is one condition you will look for when you're checking the continuity of the function. So if you're checking the continuity of the function at c, then the limit of the function at c should exist, which means left hand limit and right hand limit as at x equals to c should be equal. Okay, so limit of the function exists, that we checked existence of limit in the last class. So we're going to use this concept over here. Third one is limit of fx as x tends to c is equals to f of c, right? So you have to look at these two. So now a function fx is said to be continuous at a point c if the function is satisfying these three conditions. The number 1, function should be defined at the point c at which you are checking the continuity. This is the first condition you will check. Second is limit of the function should exist at that point, which means you will check left hand limit and right hand limit at the point. Okay, so it should exist means it has to be same. Third one is the function value at c, which means f of c, and the limit value, left hand limit and right hand limit, they two should coincide. So then if a function is satisfying these three conditions, then we say that the limit of the the function is continuous at x is equals to c. Okay, now one by one I will try to show you what happens when a function is not satisfying these three conditions. Then how do we get a function graph is broken? Okay, so first I will take example of fx is equals to 10x at x is equals to pi by 2. Right, now we want to check the existence of now we want to check whether this function fx is equals to 10x is continuous at x is equals to pi by 2. So graphically we had seen that the function is discontinuous at this point, right? So now I will do this. So first, to check the continuity, you will check the first condition, whether the function is defined at this point or not. Okay, so number 1, you will check at x is equals to pi by 2. So you have to find out now f of pi by 2. Okay, so f of x is 10 pi by 2. So f of pi by 2 is 10 pi by 2. So this is equals to not defined, because we know that the function is not defined at 90 degree, pi by 2. Okay, so therefore 10 pi by 2 is not defined. So it is contradicting the first condition, which is we had stated that the function has to be defined at the point at which you are checking the continuity. So here we are checking the continuity at pi by 2, but the function 10 is not defined at pi by 2. So it is not satisfying the first condition. So we know that the graph of 10 is broken at pi by 2. Okay, so theoretically you will from the first condition itself, you will say that the function is discontinuous at pi by 2. It is not satisfying this condition, is it? So therefore we'll say that this function is discontinuous. Therefore fx equals to 10x is discontinuous at x is equals to pi by 2. Graphically now you can see how the graph is broken at pi by 2, right? So the first condition a function should satisfy to be a continuous function is the function has to be defined at a point. Okay, so this is one example which is contradicting the first condition, and hence the function is discontinuous at that point. Now we will check the second condition. Okay, now what happens when a function is satisfying the first condition, but if it is not satisfying the second condition, then how will be the graph broken at that point? So we will check a second example. Okay, I'll give you another example. Okay, I'll give you this. Okay, let me give you this. Let function fx is equals to x when x is less than or equals to 1, and say it is x plus 1 when x plus 1 when x is greater than 1. Okay, now we have to check the continuity of the function at x is equals to 1, right? So we will check whether the function is continuous at 1 or not. So for that we need to check whether the function is satisfying these three conditions or not. Okay, so first we will see whether the function is satisfying the first condition or not. So we are checking the continuity at x is equals to 1. So first of all you will find out the function value at 1. Okay, so now when x is equals to 1, your function is, okay, first you just write this. You are checking the continuity at x is equals to 1. So we need to find out the value of function at 1. So you have to find out f of 1. X is equals to 1. So you have to find out f of 1. Okay. So f of 1 when x is equals to 1, when x is equals to 1, fx is equals to x. Is it? So we have to find now f of 1 is equals to 1, which is defined. So this function is satisfying the first condition. Okay, so at x is equals to 1, f of 1 you get 1, so which is a defined value. So therefore it is satisfying the first condition. Now you have to look for the second condition, whether the limit of this function at x equals to 1 exists or not. So for that you need to find out left hand limit and right hand limit separately. So we will do that. So left hand limit is equals to, so limit, now I'll directly just write, because I hope every one of you know how to take the left hand limit and right hand limit. In the last class we had discussed. Okay, and moreover this is a topic of class 11, how to check the existence of a limit. So I do hope that you all are clear with the concept of the existence of limit. So to find the left hand limit, x is less, okay, x tends to 1 from left hand side, which means x is less than 1. So we put here x. So therefore after making all the substitutions you will get here, you put x is equals to 1, so you get 1, right? And for right hand limit you get limit of x tends to 1 from right hand side, which means when x is tending, okay, 1, when x is tending towards 1 from left hand side, x is somewhere here which is less than 1. So when x is less than 1, so your function is x. Is it? When x is less than 1, fx is equals to x. So you just take x and then you put 1, so you get 1. When x is tending towards 1 from right hand side, so x is somewhere here, which means x is greater than 1. Is it? So when x is greater than 1, then your function is x plus 1. So you put 1, so we get here 2. Now here we can see that left hand limit is equals to 1, right hand limit is equals to 2. So the limit of the function does not exist, which means it is not satisfying the second condition here. So therefore the function is discontinuous. So you will write here left hand limit is not equals to right hand limit. Therefore fx is discontinuous at x is equals to 1. Sorry. Okay. Now one thing I just want to tell you here is, yesterday when we were checking the existence of limit, for finding the left hand limit and right hand limit, I asked you to make a substitution method. Do you remember that? We take x, let x is equals to 1 minus h when you're finding out the left hand limit, and you'll make the substitution let x is equals to 1 plus h when you're finding out the right hand limit. That method is very important in case your given function is some special function like modulus function, greatest integer function. So while checking the existence of limit for those special functions, without using the substitution method, you won't be able to check the existence of the limit, right? But if your function is some polynomial functions, polynomial, okay, then without using the substitution method, directly you can put it here. The values you put here, instead of x, you just, x is tending towards 1, so just you put 1, okay? So here x is tending towards 1, so you put x is equals to 1, so 1 plus 1 is 2. So for polynomial functions, when you're checking the existence of the limit, so then you don't have to use that substitution method. Directly you can apply the limit point. You can use direct method for evaluating the limit. Is that clear? But you should be clear with that concept, because that concept of the substitution method is to be used when the given function is either modulus function, greatest integer function. Like special functions, you need to apply that substitution method. Okay, so you should be clear with that concept. That's too very easy. But just to save your time, if your given function is some polynomial function, then you don't have to apply that method. Okay, so directly you can use direct method. Okay, so now we had seen that this function is satisfying the first condition, that is the function is defined at 1, right? X is equals to 1, but the limit of the function does not exist as x tends to 1, which means it is not satisfying the second condition. Now graphically, if we see, okay, now graphically when you see, I'll show you how the graph of this function is broken. We are checking the existence at 1. Okay, so this is 0, and here we have say 2 and 3 and so on, right? Now to this function, it is divided in two parts. Okay, one is when x is less than or equals to 1, the behavior of the function is x. Okay, when x is strictly greater than 1, then the function takes its image in the form of x plus 1, right? So now first you will plot one graph for x. For that you will take all the values which are less than or equals to 1. Okay, so first you will do that fx is equals to x, and one is fx is equals to x plus 1. This happens when x is greater than 1, and this happens when x is less than or equals to 1. Okay, so now x is less than or equals to 1 means I can take x is equals to 1. I can do that. So f of 1 is equals to 1, is it? So when x is equals to 1, its image is 1. When x is equals to 1, f of 1 is 1, so its image is 1. Similarly, you can take f of 0. X is less than 1, 0, so that is 0. So this is the graph. Okay, for this, now x is strictly greater than 1, which means you have 2, 3, 4 and so on. So if I take f of 2, right, now here in this case x has to be greater than 1, so f of 2, that is 2 plus 1, which is 3. Similarly, you can take f of 1.1 also, you can take, it is greater than 1, 1.1, so that is 1.1 plus 1, so that is 2.1. So 1.1, it's somewhere here, so that you get 2.1, it's here, is it? So then f of 2, when you take, it is 3. So its graph is like this. Okay, so now you cannot find the nearest point to 1 on the right hand side, because I told you there exist infinitely many points between any two small real numbers. Okay, so therefore 1.1, is it the nearest point to 1? No, still you can find out 1.01. So 1.01, is it the nearest point to 1? Still no, because you can find out 1.001. So you cannot find out, or you cannot show, or you cannot locate the point which is nearest to 1. So therefore what we do is, when f of 1, what do we get? 1 plus 1 is equals to 2. So f of 1, it is 2, so it come up to here. But 1, it is to be excluded, because 1 we had included in this branch. Okay, so therefore I put a circle. When I put a circle over here, it means I'm excluding this point, but I'm considering all the points beyond this. So it comes all the points after this. So I'm just excluding this single point, 1. Okay, so now this is the graph of this function. So you can see that the graph of the function is broken at 1. Okay, so if the limit of the function, you can see when x is tending towards 1 from left hand side, its image is tending towards 1, is it? When x is tending towards 1 from right hand side, it is coming down somewhere here, so it's coming here, so which is tending towards 2. So limit does not exist, hence the graph of the function will be broken in this way. Are you clear with that? So now this is one example which is satisfying the first condition of the definition of continuous function, but it is not satisfying the second condition, where the limit of the function does not exist. So then again the graph of the function will be broken, so which means the function is discontinuous at that point. Okay, now we will take one example where the function is satisfying the first and second condition, but what happens when it is not satisfying the third condition? So we will take one example. I'll just change here. I will write here 1, and here I'll write okay. Now we will take this example. I'd slightly change the function. Okay, now this function fx is equals to 1 when x is equals to 1, and fx is equals to or I'll give you this. Okay, fx is equals to 3 when x is equals to 1, and fx is equals to x plus 1 when x is not equals to 1. Now when I say that x is not equals to 1, then x can be greater than 1, x can be less than 1, but it is not equals to 1. So only 1 is to be excluded, right? So first condition now to check the continuity of the function, first one what we have to look for is you have to check whether the function is defined at this point or not. So which means you have to find out f of 1. So when x is equals to 1, what is my function? It is 3, right? So f of 1 is equals to 3. It's a constant function, constant value. So f of 1 is equals to 3. 3 means it's a defined value. So which is defined. So which means it is satisfying the first condition. Okay. Then you have to look for the second condition, which is the existence of the limit. So we will do that. Now we will find out left hand limit, that is equals to limit of x tends to 1 from left hand side. Now I told you this. Say this is point 1. Okay, now when x is tending towards 1 from left hand side, x will be here, then here, here, here. So it will move closer and closer to 1. But it will never reach 1 because between any two real numbers, there exist infinitely many real numbers. So as close as this x is to 1, but it will not actually take the value 1. So it will move closer and closer to 1, which means x is somewhere here, very nearby 1, but x will be always less than 1 when you are finding out the left hand limit. When you are finding out the right hand limit, which means x is moving towards 1 from this side. So similarly, like on the left hand side we have taken, so x will be somewhere here, very near to 1, but it is on the right hand side of 1, which means x is greater than 1. Okay. So when you are finding out the left hand limit, so you should know that the value of x is very near to 1, but it is on the left hand side of 1, which means x is less than 1. When you are finding out the right hand limit, the value of x is very near to 1, but it is on the right hand side of 1, which means x is greater than 1. Okay. So when you are finding out the left hand limit, x is very near to 1, but it is less than 1, which means x is not equals to 1. So therefore you will choose this function x plus 1, right? So directly I can put it here, x is equals to 1, so I get 2. Similarly, when you are finding out right hand limit, so in that case also x is tending towards 1 from right hand side. In that case also x is very near to 1, but x is greater than 1, which means x is not equals to 1. So therefore again you will choose this function. So it's a polynomial function, so directly you can put the limit point. So that is 1 plus 1 is 2. Now in this case you can see that left hand limit is equals to right hand limit. So therefore limit of the function as x tends to 1 exists. Is it? So this function, you can see it is satisfying the first condition and second condition of the continuity of a function. Okay. Now we have to check the third condition. So that is, first one was, okay, continuity of the function f of x is defined at x is equals to c. Number 2, limit of function as x tends to c exists. That was the second condition. And the third one we have is limit of the function, limit value is equals to the function value. These two has to be same. Now what is f of 1 here? It is 3. Okay. And what is the limit value here? Limit value means left hand limit and right hand limit. They should exist, which means you will get same value. Here it is 2. So here we get limit of fx as x tends to 1. This is equals to, what do we get here? This is equals to 2, right? but this is not equals to f of 1, which is equals to 3. So this is not equals to 3. So therefore it is not satisfying the third condition. Third condition is whatever value you got in the first case, that is the function value at that point, is not equals to the limit. Okay, left hand limit and right hand limit. So therefore it is not satisfying the third condition. Therefore the function again, it is discontinuous at 1. Is that clear? Now graphically if we see the graph, okay, so here we get when x is equals to 1, 1, 2 and 3. So when x is equals to 1, then its image is 1. So you get this. So its image is 3. When x is equals to 1, f of 1 is equals to 3. So you get 3 here, right? And when x is equals to not equals to this. So when x is less than 1, so it is when x is less than 1, then the image is x plus 1. Similarly, when x is greater than 1, its image is x plus 1. So this is f of x and this is f of x. Okay. So now you take some point which are less than 1. You can consider f of 0.5. So that is 0.5. Okay, plus 1. So that is 1.5. So 1.5. Okay, when this is x is 0.5, its image is 1.5. You take very nearby points where you take 0.9. 0.9 means it is less than 1. So that is 0.9 plus 1. So you get here 1.9. So when x is somewhere here, its image is 1.9. So your graph will be like this. Is that clear? So but when x is equals to 1, you have to exclude this point because at x is equals to 1, its image is 3. Similarly, now when you consider here, you will get the graph like this. Limit also it exists. So then you take when x is equals to 1.1, f of 1.1, right? It's greater than 1. So 1.1 plus 1, that is equals to 2.1. Then you take 1.5. So 1.5 plus 1 is equals to 2.5. So when you take 1.1, you get 2.1 as its image. When you take 1.5, its image is 2.5. So it will continue like this. But you can see that this point, at this point, when x is equals to 1, at this point, its image is 3. So which means you can see the graph is broken here. Is it? So therefore, again, when the function is even satisfying the first and second condition, but if it's not satisfying the third condition, then also the graph of the function will be broken in somewhat like this. So this is an example of a function which is satisfying the first and second condition, but it is not satisfying a third condition, right? So with these three examples, you can see that if a function is not satisfying even one of the condition out of these three, then the function will be discontinuous at that point, okay? So therefore, you always remember that theoretically how you will show is that a function is continuous. You will look for these three conditions and check whether the function is satisfying these three conditions or not, right? So number one, the function has to be defined at the point at which you are checking the continuity. That is number one. If the function is defined at that point, then you will look for the second condition. That is whether the function limit of the function exists at that point or not. So for that, you need to find out left hand limit and right hand limit. Check whether the limit exists at that point or not. If a function is satisfying the second condition, then you go to the third condition, which is function value and the limit value has to be same. Okay, so if these two values coincide, then we say that the function is continuous, right? If I now change this, say if I write here, this is equals to 1. So here I get, this is, if I write 2, then this is equals to 2. So limit, what do I get here? Limit is equals to 2. Okay, function value is also equals to 2, f of 1. F of 1 is also equals to 2. Function value is also 2. Limit is also 2, which means the third condition is satisfied. So then the graph is when this is equals to 1, when x is equals to 1, f of 1 is equals to 2. F of 1 is equals to 2. So the graph is continuous. Is that clear? So therefore, the function to be continuous at a point, the function should satisfy these three conditions. That is, number one, the function should be defined at that point. Number two, the limit of the function should exist. Number three, limit of the function and the function value, these two values should be same. Okay, so if a function is satisfying these three conditions, then the function is continuous at that point. Is that clear? So whenever you are checking the continuity of the function, at a single point you have to check the continuity of the function. Okay, and if a function is continuous at all points, like sine function, you can see it is nowhere broken. Okay, so the sine function, if it is continuous at all points, then we say that the function is continuous everywhere. Continuous everywhere means the function is continuous at set of all real numbers. There is no point on the real number at which the function is discontinuous. So continuous everywhere means the function is continuous throughout the number line. Is that clear? So this is all about the continuity of a function. So so from this chapter, continuity and differentiability, in board exam, usually in board exam, there will be always one question of this topic, continuity, which will be of 4 marks. So this is one important important topic as per if we consider the syllabus or the marking distribution. Okay, so this is one important topic. Okay, so and also it is very simple. So only thing you have to check is these 3 conditions, out of which all these are very this is the lengthiest one, right? That is to check the existence of the limit. That is the topic which is from class 11, which you had already learned. Otherwise you can find the function value. This is a topic of class 11, and then you can just evaluate these two. Are the two same or not? So this is the only thing you have to check. Okay, there's nothing new in that. Only the definition is new, but the way you are going to check, okay, so that is all known to you. So I don't think you will face problem while solving this type of questions. Okay, so now in exercise 5.1, yesterday I had asked you to check the existence of limit of function for the questions given in exercise 5.1. So now you will repeat those same question to check the continuity of the function. Okay, you had already checked the existence of the limit of those functions, right? Now you will change the question, check the continuity of this function at the given points. Okay, so for that you will be needing these 3 conditions. You should know these 3. That's the definition of the continuity of a function. So you will check one by one whether the function is defined at that point or not, whether the limit exists or not. So if a function is not defined, then there only you will stop and say that the function is discontinuous. If it is satisfying the first condition, then you go for the second, then you go for the third. Okay, so in this way you will check the continuity of the function. Okay, so with this I will stop here, and you will do those questions from the exercise 5.1. Whatever questions you had done for checking the existence of the limit, same question you will repeat and check whether the function is continuous at that point or not. Okay, so if you have any doubts, then you can directly contact me through messenger or whatever you want. So try to contact me if you are facing any problem while solving questions. Okay, so I'll stop here and I'll see you in the next class. So till then, take care and stay safe. Thank you.